Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. I'm Gary Mack, and here is my sidekick, Rich Baxter.
How you doing, Gary? What's happening?
I am very good, Rich. How are you doing this fine Sunday?
Not bad. With only 9, 10 days left to the start of the season. April 1st coming up on us fast now. And this is the time where I start to watch a little baseball on TV now.
Yeah, you start to get the feeling for it a little bit.
Yeah. I was watching this morning some of the games from last night and trying to scout some of the players. Some of the guys that probably won't make the team are still on the field, of course, but that's what spring training's all about in Arizona and Florida. And the fans are back, as we were talking last week. And you have some updated news about one of the big teams in the NL East.
Yeah, we were talking last week about the fans coming back to the ballpark, and at the time, the Nationals didn't look good for them, Rich. But Washington Nationals received permission from the District of Columbia to host 5,000 spectators to begin the 2021 MLB season. The district had earlier denied the Nationals and the MLB to host fans to begin the season. So they relented, and now the Nationals are going to have people in the seats.
Yeah, that's the proper thing to do. I think it's going that way all over the MLB. Um, Anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 to 12,000 to, as we said last week, full stadium in Texas. So it's going to be interesting. Fans back. You can spend some money now on a baseball team. Something that we squirreled away last year. Didn't have to spend anything. I was on my hometown site, the Phillies website, scouting tickets. I was going to pick up a seat or two, and I was like, I'm going to wait because April can be a little tough sometimes weather-wise. You get down there and it's cold, blowing wind sometimes. So I'm going to wait till probably May or so to make my debut, if possible, if I can sneak in there within that 8,000 fan limit. But getting excited.
Yeah, that's a good choice. It can get rather chilly, and you certainly don't want to, you know, freeze your katukis off, and it's tough getting tickets now. They say so. Uh, we're still in the midst of COVID. I have not. I Tuesday I go for my first shot, so I will get the shot on Tuesday, and then I think the second one is April 20th. We already scheduled that. So, but I, I'm gonna hold back. I'm probably gonna wait. I don't know. I'll see how things go during the summer, and uh, I might just kiss this year goodbye again.
Yeah,
But I'll be watching. So
I don't blame you at all. And for those of us watching on our YouTube channel, Gary's got his Canon camera going on this week. So hopefully that'll entice some more viewers to check out our YouTube page there for our live recording of the show. And Gary, this past week, holding up this edition here of Athlon Sports, do you recognize the guy on this one?
yes, I most certainly do. That's Jacob DeGrom, the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah, I grabbed my first guide, so to speak, of the season. I always look forward to going to the bookstore and plunking down a few dollars on that one. And I was reading that has some nice articles in this one. That's one of the reasons I bought this one. There's about 4 or 5 of them there. But an author named Sarah Langs got together with this publication. She put down some first times, and that's what always mystifies me about baseball. With all the years, over 100 years that the game's been played, there's still plenty of first times that something has happened in a season. And I'll just read a couple here for you. Last year, 2020, was the first time that started players who were all sons of major leaguers in the first four spots in the lineup in a game. The Toronto Blue Jays. It happened on
Wow.
July 24th. So, first time ever. All the sons of major leaguers, the first four spots in the lineup in a game here with the Toronto Blue Jays, 24th of July, 2020. And here's another one here.
Did they
Um,
tell you who it is? Because I would guess I know Bichette was probably there.
Biggio is on
Biggio
Guerrero.
and Guerrero.
Yeah. And
And
the last one's going to be a tough one for me. I can't say that I can tell you the answer to that, but
oh,
hold on here. Let's see here. Legacy lineup. It only listed the three. It did not tell you the fourth. So all you fans of this kind of stuff, you're going to have to look it up. Go over to baseball
and
reference.
what was the date? I know I'm being a pain now.
July 24th, 2020. It says here started players
Okay.
who were all sons of major leaguers in the first four spots in the lineup of a game. So they gave you the three of them: Cavan Biggio, Bo Bichette, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. A young team of former, their dads are all former MLB players.
All right.
Interesting. Here's another one. Hit three straight homers, all from Cuban-born players. And this is an interesting one. Happened August 16th, 2020, for the Chicago White Sox. So three straight homers were hit, all from Cuban-born players. The first time as of this article here. Here's another one real quick. Hit a grand slam in four straight games. San Diego Padres, August 17th through the 20th. So interesting stuff here. It's a couple page article, goes on to ton of different first time happenings, from pitchers to rookies to you name it. So very interesting article there, and I'm always amazed by that the game's been played for so many years, but you never know what you're going to see when you go to a baseball game.
Yeah, that's for sure. And uh, those things used to be cheap, and now they're fairly expensive. Those books, aren't they, Rich?
Yeah, it's $10, but
Yeah.
I can refer to this all season. So that's that's what appeals to me. Like here's the Phillies section for our people that are watching on YouTube. If you can see that through my green screen there with the background, it gives you a breakdown of the players, uh, who they got in the minors coming up, as well as a nice schedule. To at a glance, you can look at their whole season in a quarter page of a schedule. So I really like that. It's almost like the MLB press guides that they used to print, but now I believe they're only in digital form.
Yeah. Yeah. And all of that stuff is going the way of the digital, and because everybody's got iPads, the writers and stuff, and I guess that's what they figure, right?
Yeah, it's a lot less room. If you want to get every team together, then you have them available right on your iPad. I remember
Right.
I had the press uh, sales booths in Citizens Bank Park, and before that, Veterans Stadium. They used to have a whole display of every MLB team you could buy. Some teams were more expensive than others to buy. Their press guides are about an inch and a half thick or so.
Yeah.
And yeah, apparently, we'll be telling that story, and now people will be like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." Like something like the early 1900s to them. To them.
Well, here's the lineup from July 20th, correct?
Let me get back to the article here. July 24th is what it says. Started
Oh, okay.
players who were all sons of major leaguers in the first four spots in the lineup of a game. Toronto
All
Blue.
right. I've got July 20th, and it's only 3. Let's see. How can I get to the 24th? Because now my appetite is.
So we're going to do a live lookup here.
We're doing
on
a
the show.
live lookup, is right. They were playing Tampa
Toronto.
Bay.
Schedule and results. The Baseball Reference is the place to go for this kind of stuff because it's so fast usually.
Now, this is interesting. I don't, perhaps the fourth one. I don't know how we can check that. Bo Bichette led off. Kevin Biggio was second. Vladimir Guerrero and Travis Shaw played third base and batted cleanup that game. Now, is Travis Shaw? I don't know whether or not his father played. He must
By the
have
way,
played then.
that was the first game of the season for the Blue Jays last year. As we remember, the season didn't start off till July 23rd. Tampa actually, or Toronto, playing the Tampa Bay Rays on this July 24th, 2020. That was their
Son of a
first.
gun. Travis Shore is the son of Jeff Shore, who was a right handed pitcher, a journeyman pitcher, pitched for a number of teams in his career. So there you go. She's 100% correct. Not that I doubted her. I just was curious
Yeah, we
to know
couldn't
who
think
the
of.
fourth guy was. And
Yeah. And of course, his name isn't as familiar
as
as the others.
well, yeah, the other, well, I mean, you got two of them are Hall of Famers, right?
Yeah.
Biggio and Guerrero. And Bichette, we all know from Colorado, had some big seasons. And Jeff Shore looks like he played with quite a few teams, like 6 teams or something. So um, he did play 11 years, though.
Very cool. So, yeah, first time ever in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat. So there you go. See, you learned something with everything.
Yes, indeed.
5 teams he played with:
Wow.
the Dodgers, the Reds, the Montreal Expos, the Cleveland Indians, and the Chicago White Sox. So Jeff Shore and his son is Travis Shore, who batted cleanup in that infamous game. And now I will stop interrupting.
Cool.
And Rich, some
I'm glad we
uh,
came up with that fourth name.
and Rich, we have some police blotter news, if you will. We have the Chicago Cubs prospect Jesus Camargo. He's facing 4 felony drug charges after being arrested in Arizona on Wednesday. He had 21 pounds of suspected methamphetamine and 1.5 pounds of suspected oxycodone pills in a duffel bag after he was pulled over for driving, speeding, and drifting between lanes. Camargo has been charged with possession and distribution of meth and oxycodone. I would suffice it to say that his career might be over. And we've lost Rich.
Sorry about that. I had the cough button on there for a second,
Oh,
but
that's okay.
and then I forgot to put it back to the regular switch. But as I was saying, um, when I first read this story, I was thinking to myself, where did he get caught at? Okay, he's training in Tempe, Arizona. He's from Tempe, Arizona. He gets caught in Vail, Colorado. We all know the situation in Colorado with the legalization of marijuana and things like that. It's a progression, folks, and I've been saying this all along with legalized illegal drugs like they're trying to legalize across the country. That's just a starting point for a lot of people. It's like saying, okay, rum is legal now. You can drink all the rum you want. Pretty soon you're going to get tired of rum. You're going to want something else. You're going to
Yeah.
say, well, the rum is good and it's get me to a certain point, but, I want what's behind door number two. And these people are trying to, create their own markets and things like that. And it's a constant battle in the United States. And I'm torn up when I see this, because it kills people, it wrecks their lives, and these people could care less. They just want a stack of money in return, and it's a sin.
And
I
you know,
really-
this story is a little confusing because you've got an article there saying that he was arrested in Colorado, and yet my article says he was arrested in Arizona. So was he? Are they holding him now? According to your article.
Let me see here. This article comes off of ESPN News Services. Said, "quote A minor league baseball player is facing drug charges after police in Colorado found 21 pounds of methamphetamine and 1.2 pounds of oxycodone pills in his Chicago Cubs duffel bag." So it says the Vale Daily reports Jesus Camargo Corrales, 25, of Tempe, Arizona, appeared in Eagle County Court on Thursday, this past Thursday, on charges including unlawful distribution of methamphetamine and oxycodone, both class 1 drug felonies, as well as charges of unlawful possession of each drug, both class 4 drug felonies. So apparently, even though they were training miles and miles away, they took a drive to Colorado here, it appears, and was probably trying to dump these drugs off, probably, and got pulled over. And you got to give kudos to the police for you know investigating and finding this. You wonder how many get through, and several of these packages were wrapped in white plastic marked CO, and two packages were wrapped in green plastic, according to the affidavit. David, so you know, Colorado, I guess that stands for. The guy was a drug smuggler, apparently. So, and he's charged at this point. So he's just accused and not guilty yet. But
Well,
it's starting.
I find it interesting that that we've got two reports that are totally different of the same crime, and
Uh,
that it just goes to show you that you can't always believe what you read, and I'll tell you why. I think it's a simple error, but I think this reporter and whoever I got it off of MLB. I don't think they did their homework or proofread it because it says Eagle County, which is in another article, it says Eagle County in Colorado.
uh,
So I think that probably either the writer or the editor assumed that because they're training in Arizona, he was in Arizona and got arrested. And but I do apologize because I gave out false information. I said Arizona. You corrected me with the Colorado, but just goes to show that you cannot believe everything you read. You got to check because if they're not checking the editors aren't checking, then how are we supposed to know? And
Yeah.
I know it's totally, off the topic, but I just found that part interesting that the news wants to us to believe them and everything, and yet here's incidents where they're giving two different states out,
Yeah.
so
Bad writing. And of course, if you're watching our YouTube edition of the show here, which
look
I
at that.
encourage you to click the subscribe button, there's a picture of the evidence there right on the page. And
I had to get that Cubbies practice bag in there.
yeah, I mean, you know, I got to give credit to the police because, this situation would have been, oh, you're a major league player, even though he's in the minors,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
give him some courtesy. He's got a duffel bag in there. He's probably got bats and balls, and they investigate, and here this is. I mean, this sticks in my craw, like people used to say, oh, well, he a prosecutor or politicians tough on drugs, putting them away for 20 years. Do you know how many lives that represents in these bags right here? You might lose 100 people or more just
Right.
because of this. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody in your family, got forbid, like 20 years is not enough in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a terrible thing, and yet this country's going, uh, to me, almost backwards in wanting to legitimize all of this crap.
Yeah.
Um,
They allow,
I I don't get it, but
the tolerances of, whatever.
ridiculous at this point in time. But you
Yeah.
know, I
Well, let's
guess we're just like grumpy old men. So
I think a voice of reason maybe might be a better description.
we
But
could probably
anyway,
use a voice of reason.
and let's give one for the cops here. Got
Got him.
him.
Yeah, they
Arrested
got him all right.
him. So good for them. Um, let's switch gears here a little bit. We'll get on a happier note. We'll go out to Vegas and any more across the country. A lot of sports betting's legal, as we've been finding out here and there, and of course MLB getting cozy with it. I get some emails from time to time from Vegas, and here we go. Uh, Most home runs in a season out of Vegas here. Who do you guess would be the
Mm.
favorite as of
I guess I'm gonna go with my New York guy and go with Pete Alonso.
yeah, you'd be correct on that one. 8 to
Got
1,
one right.
8 to 1 odds. So if you put down $100
on Mr. Alonso to win the home run crown, you might collect a tidy $800 profit at the end of the season. So 8 to 1. Mike Trout coming in second as of last week. This is St. Patrick's Day odds here. 9 to 1. Aaron Judge at 12 to 1. So you Yankee fans out there, you might want to take an investment there. Juan Soto 12 to 1. Ronald Acuna Jr. 12 to 1, and Joey Gallo rounding out the top 6 or 7 here at 14 to 1. So there's your top.
Interesting.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 50 to 1. So if he gets hot, you never know. You got
Any of
$100.
those guys could win it. The only thing I don't like it when they do a thing that combines both leagues. I like the separation of the leagues, and only because a lot of the ballparks are smaller in the American League. So, in some instances, it makes it harder in the National League to do the same kind of thing that the American League does. And it's not an excuse; it's a fact. I mean, let's face it. So, but interesting little tidbit there that Mr. Alonso is the favorite again after he had a season last year that was uh not the best, but I think he hit 16 in a short season, so his batting average was bad for him, but we'll see. He's entering his third season. We'll see what happens with him, but it should be interesting.
Very
Just the
cool.
fact that we can talk about it is interesting.
Yeah. And thanks to Jimmy Shapiro out there in Vegas, sends me these updates all year long. Reese Hoskins for you Phillies fans, 50-1. So something to think about.
Yeah, quick question on that. Hoskins has been struggling in spring training, and I saw an article that said, is he the next Dominic Brown? Are they really that concerned about him that he's going to turn out to be a bust after the first few years that he's had?
Well, that's interesting you should say that. I did come up with that article myself last night. If you want to go to fightingphillies.com, I was shocked. I seen a decline in him last year. Of course, it's a COVID season, so you could sort of wrap that around it. But yeah, this season he's batting about 138. He's struggling to get to 150, and it's a shocking happening in my opinion, because he's a talented baseball player. He's got a good eye at the plate. And when you see numbers like that, I start to get worried because I start to think of Dominic Brown, and you're familiar with him.
Hmm.
I'm familiar with Dominic Brown, and it just seemed like overnight he turned to jelly.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that headline and I thought that's very fascinating that people are giving up on this guy, and he came in and really kind of got a bad deal in the beginning. I mean, they put him out in left field, if I recall,
Yeah.
and he was a first baseman, correct?
Yes.
And so he had to learn a new position right off the bat. That's a tough thing for a kid to do, especially on the major league level. And then they move him to first base, and sometimes that can take a toll. I always said that the Mets. Now Daniel Murphy went on to have a nice career, but when Daniel Murphy came up, they had the guy at in left field and third base, and then they moved him to second base, and then he played almost a whole year at first base. Then they moved him back to second base. He just happened to be a pure hitter. Hoskins is more of a power type of a hitter. And I just think it takes a toll. Lucas Duda, the Mets did it too. They stuck him out in left field. He kept telling them, I'm a first baseman, I'm a first baseman. But they had Ike Davis there. When Ike Davis got hurt, Duda went in. Duda did the job, turned into a decent first baseman, had a couple of good years here in New York. I I I just think that baseball today, you don't have positions anymore like you used to, that they draft these guys and then they can't play a position, or they don't have a spot, so they stick them in. And I know it's gone on for the entire history of baseball. Don't write me and tell me it's always happened, but it seems to be happening more and more. And I think part of it is the designated hitter all through little league and all of that crap, that guys don't play enough positions, and then you get in to a national league situation, and they don't know what to do with a glove. What's this? They don't know what it is, half of them. So I wonder if the jerking around set him back, even though he had some good years in there. Sometimes that can take its toll, or is he working on something? That could be something. Maybe change his batting style. He's working on something, and that's why he's not performing now. uh, when you watch him, does he look like he's struggling, or does it look like he's okay with what he's doing?
Seems like it looks like he's okay. He got married in 2019.
There you
Um,
go.
that was part of my article, like, did he settle down, become an old married man, and the rest is history?
Killed this game.
You never know. I mean,
You never know. No.
but looking forward to see if he can change it around. I'm going to call it. I know I'll face criticism from fellow Phillies fans that say, it's just part of the game, this, that, and the other. He was supposed to be a very extra talented guy, and we've had a lot of extra talented people that are called up from Philly. They get here, they're delayed, as you said, they're blocked from their normal position. They go into a different one, and you know they expect a ball, excuse me, a ball player to adapt, to carry on as if nothing happened. But it does affect these guys, and um, he hasn't made it big yet. He's not in the category of Bryce Harper. He's not in the category of Didi Gregorius. He's trying to make his own name. He did start off well with 25 homers, 30 in a season, and then now all of a sudden he can't even see the ball. So it'd be interesting to watch him this season for me. And another quick Phillies note. I won't spend too much time on this, but some people at a local Clearwater gas station probably took a double take this past week as the Phillies ended their game there at spring training, and they looked up to see this guy at the pumps here. If you're looking at the YouTube version, that's Bryce Harper. Yeah, he's paying for his own gas. He's putting his credit card in there, and he's fully dressed. He came out of the stadium. They can't shower and all that stuff still at the ballpark. So Harper just said, "Out of heck with it. I'm going in full uniform to the local fill-up station there, and I'm just going to get some snacks and fill her up." And you can see he's driving a Jeep Wrangler there as well. So,
Always the car guy, aren't you?
yeah, Bryce Harper, turning some heads there. One of the other players took that picture of him there.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Hey, he's got to get gas, right? Got to get people don't think of those things when it's a major league ball player, but if they're driving 2 and 4 to the stadium, they got to put gas in the car. They don't. The stadium doesn't have a gas pump for players, I don't think. Maybe in when they get to the big club, but I don't think spring training does. But it's got to get gas somewhere.
That's right. So,
and he knew how to use the pump.
Not bad. So, what a thrill it must have been for some fans to see a guy like Harper all dressed in his uniform, pumping his own gas, getting a snack or two, maybe a coffee from the road.
That's pretty funny. Well, Rich, we've got a MASH report, the the injury list, if you will. I shouldn't laugh, but Washington. There we go. Washington Nationals reliever Will Harris has a blood clot in his right arm and is leaving spring training to be examined by a specialist. Davey Martinez said on just the other day. I don't know about much about what's going to happen here, but for me, when somebody mentions something like that, it's kind of a scary deal. Until we know more about it, I got to assume he's going to not to start with the beginning of the season, and that is a big deal. Blood clots not a fun thing to have, and could be very dangerous. So let's hope that everything's okay with Will Harris of the Washington Nationals.
Absolutely.
And also in the injury news on our MASH report, or whatever you want to wish to call it, Arizona Diamondbacks. This is a weird story. First base coach Dave McKay suffered a broken rib and a lacerated spleen after a fall in the dugout earlier this week. Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovello said the 70-year-old McKay was wearing a new pair of shoes on Tuesday, tripped on the bottom step of the dugout, and fell against the bench during a game against the San Francisco Giants. He quickly recovered and stayed at the park, but began to feel more pain on Wednesday morning, and that's when the extent of the injury was discovered. Lovello said McKay was resting comfortably, had a little procedure done to cauterize the spleen, and everything is thumbs up right now. Lovello said he expects McKay to be away from the team for about a week, but he should be able to be with the team by opening day on April 1st. And that's a little scary, Rich, when when you get old and you have a fall like that, you just never know what it could lead to.
Yeah, not good at all.
So hope Dave McKay, 70 years old. Uh I'm closer to that newer. So it kind of concerns me a little bit. You gotta be so careful with these falls and whatnot. And um, it's the hard part is that then you start to really get too weird about everything. You know what I mean? You start to like you look at every step and everything is like so precise. That's why I guess you see old people moving so slow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
Dude,
you're just afraid. I don't like the ice or snow. When we had ice or snow, I didn't go. I went on the porch and but I just you get very nervous. I'm 68, so uh, you just get very nervous about the whole thing.
sure. It's a tough fall when you do fall, that's for sure. So
Hmm.
you got to stay on those feet. MLB prospect Jack Leiter tossed a no hitter this past week, struck out
Wow.
16, and a dominant 5-0 victory for Vanderbilt baseball. So Jack Leiter, MLB prospect, puts a
Wow,
no
that's
hitter up there.
have to look out for his name. And not yesterday, Rich, but last Saturday's spring training exhibition between the Cleveland and the Indians and the San Francisco Giants took an interesting twist during the ninth inning. The game finished without umpires for the bottom of the ninth inning. The Giants, who were the home team, entered the bottom of the inning with a 5-4 lead. Traditionally, the game would have ended at this point. Still, both teams agreed to continue the game to allow the game to allow the game to continue to allow Cleveland pitchers an extra opportunity to get some pitching work in. Without umpires to call the game, Cleveland catcher Bo Taylor took over duties as home plate umpire while catching simultaneously. So the umpire said, "No, we're done. We're
That's all you
leaving."
can ask them for. We're not getting
They
overtime for
left.
this.
They left, and the teams had agreed to play the bottom of the ninth no matter what. So Cleveland pitchers could get some work in, and they played it without an umpire. So something we're
Amazing.
seeing a lot of wacky things these last couple of years.
It's amazing the way their jobs going to be taken away from electronics in about a year or two,
And then
and
they
all of
still
a
do this
sudden,
stuff. Yeah.
it
Well,
reminds me.
I was watching a game last night, and I didn't get the rule that they put in this year for spring training either. Whereas I was watching Oakland and California, Los Angeles Angels, and they were losing 11-2, 10-2. Oakland had first and third, uh, pitch it through, base hit. It was 11-2, and then they just said, "You know what? We're ending this inning." The Angels, and I'm thinking, okay, it was the ninth inning. They're losing 11-2. The odds of comeback, but I didn't, and then I've seen this happen another time earlier in spring training when they did it, and I don't get it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do get it because they don't want to have the pitcher keep throwing pitches or keep bringing in pitchers. I get that aspect of it, but I don't know. I mean, what happens if they scored 10 runs and won the game? Oakland would have a right to be pissed off, wouldn't they? I mean, they would have scored 3 or 4 more runs, and then and again, I know it's a spring training game; they're there to get work, but I don't know. It just seemed like a stupid rule.
Absolutely. But I like the fact that they can just throw in the towel and say, we're done.
Yeah,
Especially,
yeah, yeah. Madden come out and said, that's enough. That's enough. And yet they got the hit.
yeah. Well, I
So
just,
that's what didn't make sense to me, but so be it.
yeah, I want to invite our listeners because you're not going over to our Patreon page. I'm going to just say it one more time in the hopes that somebody will finally go over there. Patreon.com/baseball talk. It's all one word. You can go there. You can join our coffee and podcast listeners group at $1 per month, our awesome listener club level at $5 a month. You want to be a VIP listener here on the show with a mention of your name on the program? $10 a month. I'm talking less than, I don't know, 25 cents a day to be listed as a VIP listener of the program. And believe me, we'll drum you up a little bit here on the program if you hit that button there for us, because it's going to allow us to do a lot more for you. Like I said at the start of the show, Gary's rocking the new Canon uh, camera to bring a better video quality to you folks on YouTube. We've got some upgrades in the works. We're, upgrading the show constantly for you. And we'd love to have some Patreons come and support the show. If you don't want to go to Patreon, I don't blame you. Go to our um, other podcast site here is anchor.fm. That's where our show is hosted. You can do the same thing there. You can sponsor the show. They have some easy buttons that you can click on to sponsor the show. Again, at $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you want to contribute here. And I'll bring it up on the screen in just a second here. And that's our support button right there in the middle. If you want to check it out as my phone rings in the background here. But yeah, the support button is going to take you to an easy site. It's run by Stripe, which is one of the biggest payment processing websites on the internet. And baseball talk radio show. It's anchor.fm/baseball talk radio show there. You can just click right on it and listen to our shows from there. You can also um, subscribe to sponsor our show. And we need some support out there. I'm surprised we're not getting it.
And Rich, I want to urge you also to go to our YouTube channel and watch the show. You can actually watch the show, and I do have a confession to make. The Canon is not a new camera;
Okay.
it's old, and I was wondering what I could do with it, and I found something to do because it is better than my webcam. So, but don't think we have money that we went out and bought new equipment. No, we need to raise money to bring in some new equipment. We're trying to do that, and we're asking for your help. If you could help us out with that, we would be very thankful. As you can see on the screen, Rich is showing the Anchor page and uh, the donation message there, whatever they call it. So if you could give whatever you could, if we could, just get 100 to 200 supporters. And
Yeah, and there's a lot of shows out there, like I've been saying. I'm not trying to beat an old drum to death and beg for donations here, but there's a large listener base that supports a certain show, and you can go to there's some pilot podcasts that I listen to. I mean, they have 300-400 supporters. A guy actually makes a a living off of this with the supporters. And that's not what I'm asking. I'm just asking for a little bit extra we can put into the show. And if you listen, you want to support us, that's what this is all about. We would appreciate you to be part of the group, part of the broadcast here. And yeah, we're not asking to get rich. We just want to try to bring you a better show because of it. So don't take me wrong. I'm not begging for donations here. I'm just saying, become part of the program.
And there's some things we'd like to do. Maybe uh, uh, go live, do some live shows now and then. Maybe have a Q&A sometimes with you guys on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. So um, it's stuff like that that we're trying to accomplish. So and just trying to spice up the videos a little better, get things going, and so we could use your help. And look, if you do, we'd love you to be a part of the show as well, and you can do that by calling our hotline, voicemail hotline at 516-619-6341. Or you can also do it the old fashioned way. You can, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way, but you can send us an email at Gary at Baseball Talk Radio Show, or Rich at is it Baseball Talk Radio Show, or is it
Baseballtalkradio.com.
talkradio.com?
Yeah, Rich
Uh,
at baseballtalkradio.com or Gary at baseballtalkradio.com. You can get right into us. If you're having a problem with your donation button or you need extra help with it, Gary and I will be glad to help you with it.
Yeah, and if you have a question about baseball or anything that we said, or a correction of anything, whether that guy was arrested in Colorado or Arizona, you can email us or call us and let us know. And if it's clean, we'll put it on the yeah.
Yeah, big game this
And
afternoon, Gary. Your Mets taking on the Nationals. We got Jacob DeGrom and Max Scherzer going face to face this afternoon.
and believe it or not, I do not think that it's televised. I could be wrong. I have to check, but I don't think it's televised at all.
Yeah,
So
that's strange.
yeah, well, they've got a weird schedule going there, so I don't know what they're doing. But and Rich, I used to remember a night game or two in spring training, and they don't do that anymore either. And I always find that interesting because they come north, and then all of a sudden they're playing night games, and it's not the easiest thing to adjust to.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. It's day and night, things like that. Takes a little while to catch on.
Yeah, if you've ever played in a night game, you know what I'm talking about. It's a totally different animal, and in fact, it's weird the first time you play in a night game, because it's like, holy crap, it's night out. you know you spend your whole youth playing baseball in the daylight, and then you get a little older and you get to a league where you're playing, you go to play night games, and everything is different. I found even ground balls look different because of just reflections and whatnot. But that's why I remember they used to play a night game here and there in spring training, and this year I found nothing. I kept looking, and a couple of 6 o'clock games, but that doesn't really count. Now I know Arizona, they play a couple of night games, so I don't know why they in Florida they are not, but or maybe it's just the Mets aren't. I don't know, but very weird, very weird.
Keep an eye on the latest spring developments here. Is spring drawing up? Even though it just turned to spring on the calendar, the spring training schedule is closing out soon. We only have, let's see, next week to talk about spring training, Gary, and then we'll be starting up a season on Thursday, April 1st,
Wow.
next week already.
It's coming, baby. It's coming, and it's coming fast, and I can't wait for it, Rich.
Yes, indeed, myself and included. Well, thank you very much for listening to this edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. As Gary said, give us a call, uh, drop us a line. Most importantly, give us a sponsorship. Let us know you're out there with us, standing with the show. We don't bombard you with ads and audio, things like that. So please consider that. And other shows have a number of different sponsors that are listeners, and it's a cool customer base. It's sort of like, you're part of the show, so to speak, at that point. So we invite you in. And Gary, you have a great week.
You too, Rich, and as you said, we're getting near the opening day, and thanks everybody. And we'll talk to you again next week on another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show.